Lincolnton, some development fee.
We'll call the November 6th Lincolnton City Council meeting to order. Let's all rise for a moment of silence, and then we'll follow it with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. And your agenda says that we were supposed to be led by Troop 75. They'll be here next month. They had a conflict. So if you'll repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Had a chance to look at the agenda. There are a couple of changes to the regular agenda. The first one, and Daphne, you correct me if I'm wrong, the presentation of the Eagle Scout under special presentations, we won't have that. That will be next month. And the public hearing CZ6 2025 2B, he withdrew his. So neither of those will be on the agenda. Are there any other changes or deletions, additions to the agenda?
No, sir.
And I'll entertain a motion to approve the regular agenda as amended.
So moved.
Motion by Roby. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. You've also had a chance to look over the consent agenda items. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
That motion.
Motion by Mark. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the public comment. And have we got anybody that signed up?
Bryson Brooks.
Mr. Brooks, if you'll come forward, please. State your name and address for us for the record.
Bryson Brooks, 342 Highland Drive.
And you've got 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. All right. Good evening. My name is Bryson Brooks, owner and operator of Pronto Towing here in Lincolnton. Since the beginning of this year, I've been raising concerns about the city's police towing rotation list and the imbalance it's created. Right now, one company or family is operating under several different names, and they are controlling 5 of the 10 rotation spots, meaning half of the rotation spots are the same people. That isn't just unfair. It eliminates real competition, hurts other small local businesses, and creates the appearance of favoritism from within the city. I want to be clear. I'm not here fighting for just my business. I'm fighting for fairness for everyone, the citizens and the small business owners who serve this community. I even approached the police chief about lowering rotation fees to make towing more affordable for the people of Lincolnton. I wanted to show that I care and the fairness of doing what's right, not just chasing profit. The chief agreed to discuss lowering the fees. But when brought up the monopolistic control of the rotation list, he said he didn't see an issue and wasn't going to change it. That's concerning because the purpose of the rotation list is for fair opportunity. When one family or company holds 5 spots, it defeats the entire purpose of the list. It reduces competition, it limits opportunity, and sends a message that some businesses gets favoritism while other is just filling a spot on the list. This goes deeper than just business. It's about public trust. The same company that dominates the rotation list also tows the police cars. They perform inspections for the department, even handle some personal vehicles for some officers. And I'm not accusing anyone of any wrongdoing, but it's impossible to ignore how this looks to the public. At the end of the day, all I'm asking is one company, one rotation spot. Fair, simple, transparent. It restores integrity to the system, confidence in how the city operates. And just take up the rest. I would look into the federal and the state antitrust laws considering, with monopolies. Monopolistic practices are obviously illegal, and I wouldn't want the city to be allowing that to happen here in the city. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Jedi Likings.
Hey, Jedi, if you'll state your name and address in 3 minutes.
Likens, 610 Greer Street. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor and city council members. I know last time I was here to speak, I had a lot of complaints, but I forgot to say anything nice last time. So I still do have some complaints, and I'm going to start with those, but I'm going to say something nice at the end this time. And if I get too far off the rails, Richie, you're in charge of smacking me, okay? So complaints out of the way first. In doing some research, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I've discovered that this body has unanimously voted yes on pretty much every single proposal this year except for two. One being a split decision on having alcohol at an event, and the other you unanimously voted no on in order to prevent a sweet lady from operating a small hair salon in a pre-existing space. Council members, it's my hope that you begin to care as much about the liberty and livelihoods of your citizens as you do about alcohol, because that seems to be the only thing that can get you to pay attention to what you're voting on. Instead, we're continuing to rubber stamp everything that comes before this body's desk, and the taxpayers are having to foot the bill. Okay, I'm done with the complaints now. I'll say some nice stuff now. As I promised, I have some nice stuff. What I'm here to do tonight is to extend an olive branch to all of you. As you may know, several weeks ago, I did announce my intent to run next year, but whether I win or lose, I would like to work with all of you to help better serve our community and our city, and to help the people of this city. So I'm here to tell you my door is always open. Please feel free to reach out to me if you need to discuss policy or to use me as a sounding board, or if you just need some prayer and encouragement, because I know I'm very passionate about the things I come to speak about, but I do pray for you all constantly, and I wish to see you do well so that in turn our city can do well. So thank you so much.
Anybody else? Okay. Okay, next item, and generally we don't comment from public comments because that's not the forum to do it. Next item on the agenda, I'll turn it over to Chief Green. And, there he is. For recognition of one of our officers.
Mayor, Council, I'm here tonight to present a intermediate certificate to an officer. Our training standard recognizes two professional certifications that they award officers. It's based on training, experience, and years of service in the position. It's not something they give freely, it's something you have to earn. And tonight I would like to present his intermediate certificate to Colton Fitzgerald.
For everything you do, and as always, Chief, thank you. Next item on the agenda, I'll turn it over to Richie for a recognition that is well deserved.
Yes, and if Pam and her staff, the finance department, can come up front, I want to embarrass them a little bit. We were talking about this award and how hard it is to get, but I want to recognize the finance department. This is the 35th year in a row that we have received the GFOA award. And I just want to read just a brief statement on what the award is and how it came about. The GFOA established a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting program in 1945 to encourage and assist state and local governments to go beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles to prepare annual comprehensive financial reports that evidence the spirit of transparency and full disclosure and then to recognize individual governments that succeed in achieving that goal. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial report. And this is the 35th year in a row that we've received that. But I want to recognize this department, because without this department, your bills don't get paid. And without the bills being paid, well, nobody will ever sell us another good again.
And luckily, they were all around in 1945 whenever it started, so.
And the biggest thing is they also pay our staff. And without our staff, well, we wouldn't be around either. But I can't tell you how hard it is to get this award and to be able to say you got it for the 35th year. I want to thank Pam and her staff for all they do. It's amazing, like I say, that a city of our size can run on a staff of 5 people, but they do it every day. But we are very appreciative and just want to give them the thanks, because this award's for them.
Here.
You're only as good as the people that we work for, and I've got the best crew, so. This is Denise, Jennifer, Stephanie, and Rebecca, and you all know me, so. If you need anything, let us know.
Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
I'll just echo what Richie said. I've never worked with a group that is any better and are that well qualified, and that I actually enjoy being around. But thank you all for everything you do. We appreciate you. Next up, Gene's already at the podium. I'll open up a public hearing for CZ-5-2025.
Thank you. So this is for a property that is, the existing zoning is general business, and you can see this is the property location right here. This is where South Aspen Street turns into Gastonia Highway, and this is the 321 bypass. The proposal is to rezone this to a conditional rezoning for planned business, a conditional district. The subject property is 1.096 acres in size. It's located on 1271 Rocky Hill Lane. Most of you may or may not have ever heard of that. I had not heard of it until we did this rezoning. But the surrounding properties, you can see the zoning colors here. They're a mix of commercial, residential, and medical uses. Zoning districts in the immediate surrounding area are general business, office institutional, R25, R8, and residential multifamily. The previous uses for this particular building were a real estate office, an auction house, and an employment agency. The building is currently vacant, and the applicant is requesting to open a tattoo studio. I'll get you a better picture in a minute, Roby. I'll show you where it is. So just so you know, I just want to show you where it is in relationship to the city limits. So the courthouse is here. We're located over here. It's on the edge of the city limits. This lime green is our city, and the purple is our ETJ. So it's just on the outskirts, like on the edge of the city. So there's an area where you can actually see the roads. There's South Generals, South Aspen, NC 150 Highway, Gastonia Highway. The road is this little private, I think it's a private road, Rocky Hill Lane.
It is.
And there's a little business here, and then it's a building that sits back here. I've got a visual too on the next. I was just trying to go slow so you can kind of see, now you might see better. It's this white building to the back, and I'll move closer to it so you can see it better. But I did the pictures this way because I was pretty certain that you may not know where it is. So you can see it better here. So it's a commercial building currently with 9 total offices, a reception area, a conference room, a kitchen, and 2 bathrooms. I've already covered the location, so I'm not going to repeat that part of my report. And that's just a better look at the building.
It was the original Farm Bureau building and then became Gates Realty.
Gates, that's what I was gonna ask if it was that building.
So currently, this shows to be in the general business planning area for the land use plan. So this use does not go against any of the goals and objectives for the general business planning area. So we do recommend that there is no amendment to the land use plan necessary if you choose to go through with this conditional rezoning. We have to do our statements of consistency. So if you choose to approve this project, it is consistent with our land use plan in that you would be working with landlords of vacant and underutilized commercial buildings to develop strategies for adaptive reuse. You continue to encourage the reuse of existing commercial zone properties rather than develop new vacant properties. It's reasonable in that the rezoning of a vacant building follows these strategies from the land use plan for adapted reuse and to reduce commercial sprawl throughout our thoroughfares. If you decide to deny it, you would just say that while it's consistent with the land use plan, you don't feel like it's desirable in that area. Planning Board did vote 7-0 in favor of approving the conditional rezoning, and Planning Board recommends the following actions: to approve the rezoning of the property from general business to planned business conditional district. And you do that means if this use is approved for this location, it doesn't mean that they could have a tattoo studio in any location that's general business, just this one particular area. And that you approve the statement of consistency and reasonableness for approval of the rezoning request. So that's your cheat sheet for your vote, but the applicant is here and she does have a presentation she would like to make. Before she does that, do you have any questions for me?
Can you go back to the zoning map?
The actual zoning with all the colors, this one?
Yeah.
So all this green is already general business, this dark green color. And I should have had it up here. Past this office institutional, these 3 purple lots, there is planned business. This is residential multifamily, which is zoned for like apartment complexes, that kind of thing. This darker blue is R25. And you can see all of this along the front of that thoroughfare is general business. It's all commercial properties. And this is her. And it's already zoned commercial.
So the planned business.
So she did a zoning text amendment years ago to allow tattoo studios in planned business, but this particular property is in the general business district.
So is there any other planned business areas here?
Well, she could look for planned business, but she's tried to find spots, and as soon as something comes up for sale, Lincolnton is so valuable, the buildings get away. And I'll let her speak for herself about this, but she's actually purchasing this building because she wants to invest in Lincolnton, but I'll let her talk about that piece. But this is on the outskirts of the city. I think it's a great location for what she wants to do. It gives her some space.
Is there access to the building off of the on-ramp, or is
It is
Ludlow
off the
Road
ramp,
only,
so if you
or
see, there's a little private street right here.
the Huddle Street that comes off Georgetown, right?
Well, no, it's not off of Georgetown. It's off of Gastonia Highway.
Off,
Access to Georgetown.
okay.
Yeah.
That street does kind of, while it shows it here, it is
Okay.
kind of off the ramp.
Okay.
Are you good, Kevin? Okay. I'm going to switch over to her presentation. Shauna?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
So you just need to remove operating.
Okay. And I have some little booklets to give out to everyone. I only have 5. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I got you.
We're all
Oh,
right.
that's my
We
speech.
watch it.
Unless you want to give my speech.
I'll let
first.
you.
Okay. There's your pretty big one so we can match.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you
Thank
change your
you.
mind, you let me know.
Thank you.
And I just
Which way you can roll down and it'll move here.
scroll, okay.
Alrighty. Before I begin, each of you have a binder in front of you. As I speak, I do encourage you to flip through it. The first few pages show the building as it is now, alongside our vision for what it will become. At the end, you'll see photos from our first Lincolnton project, proof that when we make a promise to a community, that we keep it. All right, good evening, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Shauna Moore, and alongside my husband Kyle, we are the owners of S'more Ink Tattoos, and we are currently located in Dallas, North Carolina. We are a husband and wife team who started S'more Ink back in 2015. What began as a small dream has grown into one of the most respected and community-driven tattoo studios in our area. Our mission has always been simple:
to create meaningful art while giving back to the place that we call home. The building we're purchasing, which we close on in the morning, well, tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, we close on it, is absolutely perfect. It's what we've been looking for. The price, the location, and the size make it ideal for our business, and we truly believe that this area of Lincolnton holds untapped potential. We'd love to bring,
Are you going to use the entire building?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to use
We
the
are.
entire?
Oh,
building?
we're, yeah.
Because
full-
I know that it's multiple, it has been multiple occupants in the
So
past.
inside, it has 9 office spaces, and we will be utilizing all 9. We're a big studio. So we have 12 tattoo artists total, 2 permanent makeup artists, and 3 piercers. So we will all occupy the whole entire space. Let's see here. So we'd love to bring light and growth into this part of town, an area that deserves fresh energy and investment. It's a bit off the beaten path, like she was saying. It's kind of off from downtown, but we appreciate that because we know that tattoo studios can sometimes be viewed as taboo, and we want to prove that a business like ours can elevate and enrich the surrounding areas. So this is the proposed look for the interior. Inside, our vision is clean, professional, and welcoming, a space that reflects our commitment to quality and safety. We want people to walk through the doors and immediately feel comfortable, no matter who they are. Our goal is to show that tattoo studios can and should meet the same professional standards as many medical or beauty establishments. And like Ms. Jean just said earlier, I did have a tattoo studio in Lincolnton back in 2021. We were the first tattoo studio ever allowed in Lincolnton. And it was not so much a battle, but it took a lot of work to get there, and we were there for a year, and it was amazing. Unfortunately, we were not allotted the amount of parking that we were promised, and it became a safety hazard. We were primarily women, and I don't know if you're familiar with the ammo building across from McDonald's. That's where we were at, and it's got about 3 parking spots up front. So me and my staff were parking at Fats and walking. So at night, it became a little tricky. We had an opportunity back in Dallas of expanding into the suite beside of us, so we took that opportunity. But this is us kind of showing, the picture on the left is the proposed look that I brought the council last time, and then the picture on the right is us keeping our promise. So we mean what we say, and we do plan to make this building look incredible, and we'll come through with that just like we did last time. When we first opened our Lincolnton location years ago, again, we shared our plans with you guys. We followed through on every detail from the design to the atmosphere, and the result was beautiful. So our community efforts, it truly sets us apart. We've organized countless drives, fundraisers, and outreach projects, not just because it looks good on paper, but because it's the right thing to do. We believe every successful business has a responsibility to pour back into its community. During COVID, we hosted an art drive, providing art supplies to children and their families during a time when creativity was needed the most. Seeing kids light up with something as simple as a pack of markers reminded us that art truly heals and connects people. So this picture right here is the Bryan Center, which just happens to be right down the street from this new building location. We started a creative care initiative. It was called Billy's Birdhouses, inspired by my late grandfather, a tattoo lover himself. He was pretty covered. He had 2 full sleeves, so he was ahead of his time. But he built birdhouses in his final years, and we turned that into a way to give back, donating them to the seniors at the Bryan Center right here in Lincolnton. It's one of the ways that we've used art to bridge generations and bring comfort to others. And that's a picture of my papa. This is Coloring for Hope. So most recently, we launched Coloring for Hope, where we raised money to buy art supplies for the schools affected by Hurricane Helene. We worked to make sure creativity stayed alive even in the hardest times. This picture is one of our many toy drives that we do yearly. Every year we host a Christmas toy drive, collecting donations and gifts from local families or for the local families in need. It's one of the most heartwarming events that we do. Seeing our clients and community members come together to bring joy to children at Christmas reminds us that Christmas kindness always finds a way home. And then lastly, just one more thing with our community outreach. I don't know if you're familiar with the West Lincoln Optimist Club. I actually live right across the street from it, and I am on the board as their marketing VP. We are deeply involved with the West Lincoln Optimist Club, supporting youth programs. When their all-star softball team qualified for the state tournament, my tattoo studio raised money to help cover their travel costs, their uniforms. And again, it's not just about tattoos, it's about investing into our community, the kids, their growth, and their future. S'more Inc. isn't your typical tattoo studio, as you see. We're built on professionalism, safety, and heart. We hold ourselves to the highest standards of cleanliness and customer care. We go beyond tattoos. We do a lot of the community drives, we donate, and we strive to be a welcoming space for everyone. It's not just a tattoo, it's trust, creativity, and connection. And the most important part, why this zoning change matters. This zoning change allows us to operate fully within compliance while transforming an underused property into something truly positive for Lincolnton. It brings a long-standing, community-focused small business into a district ready for growth. We will create jobs, attract tourism, and continue our charitable work, all while upholding the values that make this town special. This change supports Lincolnton's reputation as a modern, inclusive city that still honors its roots, faith, family, and service. And I understand that this might not be for everyone, but your children, your grandchildren, or your friends might love tattoos. Wouldn't you want them to have a safe, professional, and amazing tattoo studio that they could go to that's right here in their hometown? And I'd like to end my big speech with a quote, actually from one of your very own board members sitting with you today. And that quote is, "Art is too important not to share." And that's Mr. Kevin Dimney, had that posted. And we want to share our art with you guys at Lincolnton. So thank you all so much. If you have any questions for me, I would love to answer them.
You think you're estimating around 15 employees? Dan, is
No, a little bit more than that, but around, between 15 to 20.
Okay.
Between like my front desk staff and my morning AM front desk and then my PM, it'll probably be around 17.
okay.
Yeah.
Did I hear correctly at the planning board, is this like medical tattoo? Did you mention that?
I do permanent makeup. So a lot of my clients are breast cancer survivors, just people in general who have lost their, eyebrows. I do a lot of eyebrow tattoos every single week. I do facial hair tattoos for men, so it's for guys too. But that's what I specialize in. And then my husband, he specializes in realism, which is as close to a picture that you're holding but put on the skin. And we've been in operation for going on 12 years now. And in Gaston County, we've been voted the best tattoo studio in our county 12 years running since we've been open.
What's your time frame? How long do you think it'll take to get that up and running and
I'll be up and running by December 1st, if y'all give me thumbs up.
do the improvements in there that you're thinking?
100%.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And it's not many. The building's beautiful. It is. It needs a little facelift, but inside, it's not much other than, we're artists. So give us a little bit of paint, a little bit of time, and we'll make it happen.
Point.
But I'm trying to get here as soon as possible, just so we can go ahead and establish roots. I have a toy drive that I got to plan, and I would really like to do it this year in Lincolnton. So.
It sounds like you guys really give back, so that's.
And I didn't mean to quote you and throw you off, but I kind of went on your Instagram. I do my research too. I get to know you guys.
Well, that sounds pretty good. I wonder who said it.
Who's that
But
smart guy
again,
that said
I
that?
do my research, and I want to get to know you guys. And I know tattoos are not for everyone, and nor do I expect to see all of you, in my studio, other than maybe coming for an event that we do. But that's okay. That's not meant for you. But your daughter, your son, cousins, family, wouldn't you want them to have the best tattoo studio? And we are the best. I know that. Here in Lincolnton, it's kind of, at your beck and call. We're here.
Roby and I were on the council whenever
We came
you
last time.
came
I
last
remember
time.
you guys. Yes. Yes. I kept it shorter this time. I kept my speech shorter this time. It was pretty. I didn't do the video. I was going to drop a video on you, but I didn't want to do that.
How many employees you plan on, did you
Between
say?
15 to 17. We've got 12 tattoo artists right now. I'm a permanent makeup artist. I've got another permanent makeup artist and 3 piercers. One artist might not make the transition with us because he's going independent, and he's kind of lives further on the South Carolina Gaston County line. But other than that, we're bringing the whole group. And a lot of us live in Lincoln County.
You are insured, I mean, you have to be insured.
You have
for
to be.
this?
So we're regulated by the North Carolina Health Department. And last time, I brought a representative from Gaston County. I didn't want to pull out all the stuff. I mean, he's on speed dial. I'll call him. But yeah, we are regulated, so we have to uphold standards.
All the inspections and
100%.
everything.
And it's yearly. It's not just one and done. They come to our studio every single year. They inspect each booth, and if we don't pass, we don't operate. And they send letters, like if you've got to, re-up every single time. We're inspected more than a lot of medical practices as far as coming into the facility. Tattoos are very heavily regulated. And again,
Any other questions?
we're nice. We're good people. I know the taboo side of it is a little, hard to wrap your head around, especially for a southern, old-fashioned town. But I grew up in Lincoln County. I graduated from East Lincoln High School. I live in Vale, West Lincoln, area. I deserve a chance to run my business in a town that I love, as long as it's not too much asking just to change the zoning of a building I am purchasing, not renting. I'm buying it tomorrow.
Any other questions? And I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Motion.
Motion by Jill. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now I entertain a motion to approve the planning board's recommendation.
So moved.
Motion by Roby. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? We'll see you tomorrow then.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's not my job to sell a project, I just present y'all the facts, but I do want to point out, I appreciate that, because for girls or women, and especially little girls, there is nowhere in Lincolnton that you can go and get your ears pierced. So if you have a daughter and they want to go get their ears pierced, there's nowhere here to take them. And they don't just service adults. So that's...
I can say this for Shauna, whenever she was here before, I'm at the age that I probably won't ever have a tattoo unless I completely lose. But, that's a person's right. And that's the way I look at it. And we're glad you're back.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next item on the agenda, we're down to item 3, the regular agenda. And I'll turn it over to Brent. I didn't see Brent.
Feedback. Oh.
You've changed.
Different Brent.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. I'm here on behalf of the fire department and Assistant Chief Brent Smith to request approval for and commitment from the city for a 50/50 grant through the League of Municipalities. I think you have some information in your paperwork there going over the details and all of that stuff. It's the 50/50 match grant is $5,000 from the League of Municipalities, as well as $5,000 from our grant fund line item, and it's to purchase the roll and rack hose roll system to better our firefighters and their capabilities to do their jobs more efficiently and safely. I'm here to answer any questions you may have or anything.
Questions?
Question I have is, so the 5,000 is coming from a grant, or half is coming from a grant.
Yes, sir.
The rest is coming out of fire department budget?
The grant line item, the fire department operating budget, yes, sir.
Okay, so it's already, this is
I
already
think, I
funds.
can't remember how many years, we've received this grant. Seems like almost every year.
Okay.
A lot of times we'll work with Debbie, our safety director, our contract, to get the grant as well. But it's one of the things that the league offers, trying to keep us safe, and so in return, they won't have as many claims when it comes to insurance. It's a win-win for both sides.
Sure, okay. But that money's already, the matching part the city's gonna propose
There's
is
funding
already
in their budget for this, yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the request from the fire department.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Jill. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, Brent.
And now, budget amendment, and I'll turn it over to Pam.
I'm freezing to death. Ramsey, go over and turn that thing.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here requesting to add to our budget $667,508. The majority of this is actually our loan, our special emergency loan for our water treatment plant and clarifiers in the amount of $508,646. The additional about $50,400 of this is our AIA money, which hopefully, knock on wood, will be hopefully completed in the next couple of months. And we did get some distribution and collection charges, some fees that have come in for connection fees of over almost $95,000. So the bulk of this is funding that will go back out because of grants, but I cannot spend that money until you approve that. So I need your blessing to go ahead and get this on our budget so we can pay the vendors for their work. If you have any questions, let me know.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget amendment as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Kevin, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Pam. Next item, David Ramsey, about a rate study for electric.
Hurry, Roby told me to speak fast. I'm here to ask for your blessing to participate in a electric rate study. To mine and Richie's knowledge, this has never been done at the city. I know in the 11 years that I've been here, the electric rates have never changed at all. What this study will do is very similar to what we did with our water and sewer rates last year. We'll provide all the financial data to the company, our rate structures and so forth, and customers that are on our current rates, and they will go through those and compare those to market, other cities our size and so forth. They may find out that our rates are right in line. They may find out that we have residential, we have small commercial, medium commercial, large commercial, and special. We might find out that the large is being charged too much. We may find out that the small is not being charged enough. We just think it's very, very prudent to do this every 5 or 10 years to do our due diligence with us. This will be done through Electricities. It's $28,900. There is a $5,000 allowance for a system of betterment funds that Electricities provides, so the cost of the city will be $23,900. Happy to answer any questions.
If this, we've been doing it ourselves.
No,
No, we haven't.
That's what he said.
we haven't had a rate increase.
Rates haven't changed.
We haven't changed, but a lot of that has to do with Electric Cities and their restructuring of debt. It has to do with the sale of some of our kilowatts that we did to the group in South Carolina. But in reality, our electric rates have not been studied that I know of since you said 11.
I've been here 11 years.
I go back to when I came back in 2007. And this is just basically to make sure that we're in line with the other Electric Cities members and with REA and Duke Energy.
Would there be a way to do that internally? I mean, can we not just go out there and look at what they're charging?
Well,
Somebody in the town down the road? I mean,
you can, but at the same time, they're probably going to look at not only what we're charging, but how we're charging it, and the fact that to see whether or not we're efficient when it comes to billing and everything. So it's a complete study of the system. But yeah, I mean, you can go and look and say, okay, we're comparable on this end, but a lot of it, like with Duke and REA, is they actually do their billing different than we do. And probably some of the other Electric Cities members do too. But you know, we found in our water study that we weren't really billing correctly, or we weren't taking in consideration allocation and so forth. Now, we do have demand charges on electric, and we always have. And that's basically if you've got a certain size transformer, then you're charged an allocation fee because of that.
What, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but this makes it fair and equitable to everybody, and it's hard to evaluate yourself whenever it comes to that, because you would rather have an independent person look at it.
Yeah,
and
well,
make sure
but if you
it's-
go like to other, because I did this when I was comparing for the last budget retreat. If you go and look at other cities, sometimes they're not, their minimum rate is not comparable to ours because it's based off different kilowatts. Just like if you go to one city in their water department, they may have a flat fee for the first 3,000. The next city may have a flat fee for the first 2, and the next city may have a flat fee for the first 1,000. So in that way, it's not just apples to apples sometimes.
So we haven't done this in years,
Ever, that
ever.
we know of.
It's been beyond what I remember.
So what's the payback on this investment of $28,000 for the city of Lincolnton? What do we get?
Well, most likely you're going to find out in some of your areas you're not comparable when it comes to either how you're charging or what you're charging.
So what does that mean as a benefit to the city of Lincolnton?
Well, it would mean more revenue if that's the case. One of the things that I'm looking at this, just like we were with water and sewer, is I want to have the ability to tell council, you have a threshold here with your capital. And anytime you get beyond or under that threshold, that's the time to raise rates. And I know sometimes it can be, it's not popular with the public, but if you're not doing that, you're not gonna be putting in the infrastructure at the same rate you did 20 years ago. And it's almost, if you think about it, it's almost unimaginable with the inflation that we've had that we've not raised rates. But I go back in saying that a lot of that has to do with the decisions that were made by the power agency and the moves that were made, which financially benefited the city. But those aren't going to always be made. So a lot of it has to do with the CIP and the future planning as well. Because my opinion is you set a capital threshold for infrastructure. And we know from our strategic plan that one of the concerns with our citizens is infrastructure and replacement. And a lot of our grid system is older and will need to be replaced. I mean, you've seen the poles that are doing this. That takes money.
We have a lot of infrastructure.
Study, it tells you, okay, you're charging this, but if you want to be able to provide that capital, it's got to be this. And you've got to put an escalator with it too that keeps up with inflation. So it's not necessarily as much what we're going to charge next year, but how we're going to fund these capital improvements in 10 years. And I agree, we can go out and just say, okay, we're comparable to Newton, we're comparable to Conover, but getting in the weeds with REA and Duke Energy is a different story just because the way that they're set up. And I will say this, just so everybody knows, for years we struggled with our rates being higher than Duke Energy. That's no longer the case. If you're on Duke like myself, you got a huge bump about 6 months to a year ago, and it bumped them above us. So.
And appreciate the fact that rates haven't gone up. That's a good thing. However,
we've been, like I say, we've done our best to make sure that our water and sewer and our electric and tax rate have remained low.
Well, I was going to finish, what I was going to say is, however, there are an abundance of infrastructure needs that we have in our town, and we need to be thinking about.
For years, we were not in a financial situation to actually address those, water, sewer, and electric. But now, because of moves made by council and moves made by electric cities, we financially can start putting money toward that, and we need to pick that can up because it's been kicked so much that there's not much of a can left now.
So the study happens, we get the information back, we determine we're going to raise rates, or
not.
Yes, or whatever it says we should do. But the goal is to try and put in place a plan that will give us a roadmap forward to figuring out how we can improve the electric infrastructure going forward for our town. Because
my plan in this budget retreat is to pretty much have a CIP for all three funds, and it gives us a tool to where in the future, your ability or the fact you're going to raise a rate is based off your capital investment. So it's not based off, anything else. It's based off we fell below our threshold, so that tells us we need to up it. In the business world, it's generally based off the price you paid for a product, and so you increase it by that amount to your customer. Sometimes you increase it more. We're a little bit different, but sometimes it's HR costs, sometimes it's chemical costs, sometimes it's the power that that we're paying, or the money we're paying for power from electric cities. But it'll be based on a formula, and anytime you dip below that threshold, you know that you've got to increase your rate to get above that threshold. So that's just the best way to do it. It's just best policy.
And this study will provide us with the CIP information that we'll need for the electrical. As you guys know, we've discussed having a second substation, which is, 2 years ago was $2.5 million. Now it's probably $3.5–4 million. And I think we'll probably find, I have no idea, I'm just basing it off what I've seen. I think we'll find that the rates will be different commercially, not necessarily residential. I may be completely wrong, but just like with the water and sewer study, it didn't affect residential very much at all. Most of this goes back to the availability of the large water meters. They have 6 inches of availability in a 6-inch water meter. Well, Walmart requires X amount of power from our power grid. The new we wanted to have the new Target, but any of the commercial businesses, they require more power. That's why they pay a demand charge for their usage at peak times during the day. And we may find that those medium rates or those large rates are out of whack. We may not, but at least at the minimum we'll have a CIP plan, like Richie had mentioned, moving forward where we'll know what kind of capital we're going to need in the next 10 years. So it's kind of twofold.
You got to remember, Lincolnton is unique in that we have 3 different electric suppliers for our city. I think everybody on this council is on electricities, but part of it's Duke Power and part of it's REA. And I know that I did. You probably got the same email from Duke today. Yeah. I consider them all partners in the development of the city, because we can't think of just the old city limits. Boker City is mostly Duke Power, and that's a partnership that we really benefit from. We get a lot of good information from Duke Power, and they help us even with the electricities.
Oh, yeah. They have the best weather department around too. Yeah. I go by them before I go by anybody else.
Anyway, any other questions?
I don't think so.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the rate study for our electricities.
I'll make that motion. We approve that.
Motion by Kevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay, Nathan, amendment for fee schedule.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This agenda item is just a follow-up to our council workshop we held a few weeks ago. And this comes from a request from an elderly lady who lives on Janice Road. As you travel down Janice Road southeast, we collect everything on the left-hand side of the road. She lives on the right-hand side. So our truck goes by her house every day. And so she reached out to us to see if we could collect her trash. We currently, in our fee schedule, have a non-resident collection fee. But in doing some research and talking with her, most trash collection services, they also have a rental fee. It can also be known as a delivery fee. So I think it's appropriate that we also charge that as well. We currently do not have that in our fee schedule, so I'm here tonight to request that we add a rental fee into our fee schedule. My recommendation is $50 per year. This just is basically an equity type thing to where non-residents have, they're investing into our program too. So,
Are we just speaking about this one person now?
well, there's certain areas, there's just a handful of areas in the city that this would apply to. Janice Road, as I mentioned, is an example. Massapogue, we're picking up in the Massapogue area at Sigmund Road, Broome Street. And so there's a few houses right there. On the right-hand side of Massapogue as you come to Laboratory Road that are
Is it
not
in the city?
No, they're the Kraus Tax District.
Why are we considering it? I mean,
They're in the Kraus Tax District. So they would be outside the city limits, but our trash truck goes right by their
Go right by
house.
there, so.
What
And
what
there's
we
only
had,
a
when we had
few
talked about it at the workshop, we're gonna set policy to describe who can, because we're not gonna pick up trash down the road. But these are situations where, because I'm sure years ago during annexation, they kept certain areas out because of density. So if you had a lot that had a lot of acreage, it would keep you from having your density numbers to do annexation. We have very few that this falls under, but basically you'll have a couple lots that are in between our route. They're not in the city, they were left out of annexation, but in this situation, we're going right by it. We have a fee schedule to pick up somebody that's not in the city because of the 4 lots, I think, up at Huntington Hills. Why those aren't included, that had to do with electric. But we're talking about 10, 15 customers total.
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
But we feel like that they should be renting that can, because if they move, we have no way of attaching that to their account or whatever. So that's the reason we're doing the rental fee. We already have a policy in place to charge them a monthly fee.
Correct.
We did that with Huntington Hills, but we are gonna come back and include in the policy of our solid waste what can be picked up and what can't. So we're not gonna go a mile out of district and start picking trash up.
Right.
We did that years ago in the sanitary district, and that was a nightmare.
And just a reminder,
This was before the automated trucks.
Yes, yes.
this is just residential
Before
trash
the
service.
automated trucks.
This will not include leaf collection, recycling, or bulk or
I
limp
can
pickup.
understand, I mean, helping somebody, I wouldn't charge them nothing if it's me, but what's these people on down the road gonna say? Another 50 yards away, why can't you pick mine up? You're gonna.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the
you're gonna start
policy, we're
something.
gonna describe basically, and it's gonna be that this lot has to be so far from, a actual, stop that we're meeting at.
It's on the route anyway.
First
We're
thing
not deviating.
she's gonna do is call her neighbors and say, hey, the city's picking up my trash.
Well, our neighbors would be included.
Yeah.
In this situation.
But the truck's gonna stop where the city route stops. I think that's what Roby's asking. We're not gonna keep inching on
No,
down the road
no,
or whatever.
that's what we're
This road's
saying.
a dead-end road
These
or
are,
whatever. isn't it?
like I said, there's probably 10 or 15
Yeah.
where you're picking up, and then you have 1 or 2 lots, and then you're picking up again. And this would, because truth be known, and I'm sure in the past, before we went to the city rollouts, we were probably picking their trash up because we're just going down through there. But having the rollout changed that. But like I say, there is a monthly fee included that they have to pay, and the yearly rental fee as well.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain the motion to approve the fee schedule as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mark. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item. Thank you, Nathan. Next item, Scott is going to talk to us about a system development fee.
So, good evening, Mayor, council members. This information was presented at our strategic planning workshop on October 23rd pertaining to the system development fee study. And I also want to be clear as far as item 4B on the agenda is consideration of request to approve of the system development fee study. We cannot approve for a system development fee at this time until the study is completed and advertised on, or not advertised, but posted on our website for a period of 45 days. But this is to start and initiate the system development fee study. Withers Ravenel did our rate study several months back that went into effect with the new rates July 1 at the beginning of this fiscal year. And Shannon Moore and the Withers Ravenel team is online virtually to answer any of your questions. The system development fee study would be $47,000 total. There's $10,000 of that for engineering-related services, such as reviewing capacity-related needs for our lift stations, our treatment capacity needs, collections and distribution needs as well, in addition to our capital improvement plan, which will be brought to you here in the next few months.
This is the same presentation that we had at the work session.
It is, and the Withers team is here just to answer maybe any additional questions that you may have. And we're asking for council's approval and authorization to proceed forward with the scope that they gave us that you have before you this evening.
Richie, where's the 50,000 to do this? Where's that in the budget?
That would be funded out of water and sewer
Correct.
fund balance.
Yeah. It was not initially in the budget, but we've had additional revenues, so I don't think there would be any issue funding it. I actually had contingency in all three of the distribution collection, water plant, and wastewater plant that would cover it if needed, so.
Since we're all familiar with this, unless you've got something.
Our main, if you did have other questions, we wanted the staff to be available for that.
I think it would be good just to get it on record as a brief description of what this is, so we're not just proving another $50,000 for something that isn't on record of what this is going to be for, who this is going to affect, and how it's going to affect them going forward. Is that a fair thing to ask?
I totally agree.
I'll let Shannon and them contribute more to that, but the system development fee study actually looks at our capacity-related fees, and if once the study is conducted and they identify specific fees, those fees can range in the amounts of $500 for water and sewer for new homes that are being built within the community. Those funds would go to improve capacity related needs within our system. For instance, if you have a 4-inch water main that feeds hydrants, it would go to replace those water mains with 8-inch hydrants or 6-inch minimum to be able to provide adequate fire flow. It would go to make improvements for Clark Street lift station that is approaching capacity due to growth. All those additional fees for new property owners, new homeowners that would be moving to the community would pay those fees in addition to the tap fees. And Shannon, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Steve and Shannon. Shannon is the director of the finance team with Withers, and Steve Miller as well.
These system development fees would only be paid for and attributable to new growth coming into your system. So your existing ratepayers would not share in any of the system development fee cost.
And these fees, just again to be clear, are going to be used to improve the existing system we have for water and sewer.
That is correct.
At the expense of growth, at the expense of new people that aren't here yet.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
I think one of the ways to look at it too, Kevin, is, we're very fortunate. We have capacity at our water plant and our wastewater plant. there will come a day with growth and just, maybe we get a large water user that comes into the area. The money it takes to increase that water plant or increase that wastewater plant or increase that lift station is a lot. It's considerable. So if somebody's coming in, they're wanting to bring homes or industry or whatever, then it allows them, or it basically allows us to charge them to basically upgrade that plant and go from 9 to 12 million. Whereas now we've got plenty of capacity, but there's going to be a day, and it's, it might be 10, 15 years down the road that we're not going to have capacity and we're going to have to increase it, and it's going to cost a good bit of money. So far, our citizens that are here have taken that load on, but it would allow us to pass that on to the developer as well.
And if I may, 1 million gallons of wastewater capacity right now is approximately between $30 and $40 million for that additional capacity. It would be the same for a water treatment plant. So $30 million would be a lot to a system, to a small utility to have to be able to fund those improvements. And typically you wouldn't do just a 1 million gallon expansion. It would be between 2 to 3 million.
What's the projected revenue from this system development fee?
That depends on what our capacity-related needs are. Again, we'll need to get the CIP, the capital improvement plan, before you and identify those additional needs. And so that fee could range per house between $1,000 to, I think the county's system development fee for a 3/4 inch water meter, if I'm not mistaken, $1,788. I know for water in a utility over in Union County, their capacity fee for water for a 3/4 inch tap is $2,500. The sewer is a little over $5,000, and that was because of a $150 million plant expansion for 3 million gallons of capacity.
So currently, if a developer comes in to a particular area, we don't have a mechanism, or we don't charge them if it requires an upgrade to our system anywhere. We just foot the bill for that, and they get the benefit of.
Well, you have the ability to deny it based off you don't have the capacity.
Right, but we don't charge that. It's part of their development plan is not to pay for an upgrade to support whatever they're wanting to put in. And this will take care of that. This will allow us to do that. Correct?
Yes, sir. That will help identify where those bottlenecks are in the system as well. For instance, we may have plenty of plant capacity, but how do you get the water to the customer through the distribution system? How do you get it to make it available for fire protection? What about wastewater collection? It costs a lot of money to run wastewater pump or wastewater lift stations, and so to do an upgrade on a 1 million gallon a day wastewater lift station, you're looking between probably $1 million, $2 million, depending on what is required. If there's a force main upgrade as well, to have to pump that line to the nearest gravity line, those are additional needs out within the pipeline system that would have to be funded. And so this would allow us to do that, in addition to have capacity assurance measures in place to ensure that we've got the capacity system-wide to deliver to our customers.
And what I like about it is the developer will be charged this fee if it's necessary, and it's not the onus on the existing citizen.
Existing ratepayers or the citizens, because tax dollars can't be used to fund those improvements, and so it would be on the new people, the new customers relocating to our area.
It's a way also to, I hate to put it this way, slow down growth and have it more systematic growth, where that it's a planned growth and it won't burden our citizens with any costs that would come into that. I like it for that reason.
Yeah, I'm on a little different page on that. But I believe in growth. I think we've got to grow as a city and as an area. And I just wonder how this might stymie growth. The potential for some new growth. There may be a correlation between
slowing it down too much, Ed. I don't
But
know.
all we're doing now is we are approving the rate study.
The study.
We don't necessarily, we're not committing that we will support that.
Understand.
That's the way I look at it. We don't know what we're dealing with until we do the study.
Mayor, council members, this takes about 6 months time frame, and looking at our capital improvement plan as well, when we come back with a draft, it has to be posted on the website for 45 days. Then there is a public comment period where Withers would come here and we would review the system development fee study, review the findings, any public comments that were received during that 45-day period, and then you would have a vote to whether or not you wanted to implement that. But to try to be in line with next fiscal year, there's critical time.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, but what we're talking about tonight is spending $50,000 of our city's money for a study, and I just want us to understand that what this is potentially going to lead to is, we're not spending this money. I would hope we're not going to agree to spend it if we're not seriously considering doing this going forward. And if we're not seriously considering doing this going forward, we ought not spend the money. That's just my opinion. So looking at it from that standpoint, I'm assuming we are going to look at doing this, and this is something that's a serious matter that we're thinking about proceeding with. And I guess my question is we do get to that point 6 months down the road and we have to make a decision we're going to do this. Is it possible that this sort of thing would stymie growth? I guess that's a question that I could ask you folks on our computer screen here is, what have you seen in other places?
Councilman Deming, I will mention that I've seen some cities that have had system development fees implemented in the past 5 to 7 years, and they've got 65 subdivisions on the books ready to be built. Yeah. And it is not a way maybe necessarily to stymie growth or halt growth. It is a way to be prepared strategically for the growth moving forward. We've got other needs as the system grows out. We might have to build a 750,000 gallon or 1 million gallon water tank out in the Startown area. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
There's studies, there's other needs that we have to identify that have not necessarily been identified. Fire flow, for instance, serving the county water and then serving future water and future capacity needs from other communities that may need that water as well. So we need to identify those. If we have to build a tank right now is between $1 million gallon tanks around $6 to $11 million. Yeah. And that is possibly needed in the system as we grow for resiliency purposes. We're required to have that. So
I understand.
If you want to ask that question.
Does this study include comparison to all the other cities around us who does this?
Yes, sir.
What they charge? So that, I mean, does Cherville do it? Does Newton do it? So we if we choose to do it, we kind of know what numbers are in line with everybody around us that would be comparable.
A lot of it, though, is, correct me if I'm wrong here, Scott, because he's been involved with it before, but a lot of it's based off your capital needs and what you're going to have to spend in the future. And we know, like I said, we've been fortunate the last 5 or 10 years, but our new plant is a 96 model. So, there's going to have to be money spent, and as we grow, we're going to have to spend money. And if we're going to take on neighborhoods, take on industry, whatever, I just think that they should be involved in contributing to that, not just our citizens.
Would they not be involved in contributing to that through paying the taxes that we all pay?
Yeah, but it's two totally different funds, and they can't be commingled.
And so, what do you mean it's two totally different funds? People pay taxes, that money can't be used to build infrastructure?
No, sir. Not in water and sewer. It has to operate just like a business.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, we need the tax money too.
The way I look at it is,
So the water bills that they're paying
correct
is paying
Yes.
for
Yes.
the water fund.
Yeah.
So they will be paying for it.
But there again, it takes years and years and years to generate those minimums, to generate enough to pay for that, sometimes that initial investment. I think the biggest thing for us is we've been fortunate. We've had capacity because of industry leaving. We've had more capacity than we would ever need, but we know the county's gonna continue to purchase water. And we know, hopefully, Cherryville will come online and purchase about 1 million a day. And as these other areas that I showed at our workshop get developed, we're gonna get closer to that capacity, and there's gonna be some real money spent when we get there. So I just feel like this is another tool that allows us to go ahead and get in front of it and know that we've got funding coming in to help. But
Well, it's planned growth.
yeah,
And that's what I hear from other municipalities all the time. You know, oh God, we didn't plan for this, it just happened. I don't want anything to just happen. I want us to look forward enough that it gives us options.
I don't think this will deter a lot of development. Most cities are already doing this. We get weekly calls, us and planning, you know, from developers that want to know the price and then want to know about this fee. And then we tell them we don't have that. And, I mean, you know, they're loving that because they're saving all kinds of money on it. And not that we would make that much off of it, but an example is the hospital had an emergency tap made from Lincoln County. They bought a tap just in case something happens to us, they can feed from the county. And it was a 4-inch water tap. They paid roughly $50,000 because of the system development fee. If they would have bought one from us like that, it would have been more like $5,000 or $6,000. So I know it's $50,000 that we're spending, but I feel like if this study works out and we do this, you will make that back pretty quick.
So the county already has this, or has a fee system in place?
I think from talking to people around,
A no-brainer.
the Lincoln is one of the few that doesn't.
Right.
I think, what was it, Kings Mountain, Shelby, I think some of those had just started them when we looked at it.
I believe so. And that information of the other nearby utilities that implement this fee, that was provided as well during the strategic workshop. I believe that information was provided in your packet. But Shannon, do you want to share some more of that information maybe? What other utilities maybe nearby had that?
Yeah, certainly. In our list of comparable communities, we have City of Mount Holly, Hickory, which is just north of you, Belmont, Charlotte, Lincoln County, Union County, the Charlotte area, Gastonia. So there's a lot of communities around you that are already charging this fee. And one of the things that we provide in the study is the calculation is based on the gallons of daily usage. And so we provide you with a chart that shows what a 5/8 3/4 inch meter would be. And then it is scaled up from there based on maximum daily flows according to the AWWA manual. So to the point earlier about a 4-inch meter, obviously a 4-inch meter is going to pay a much greater capacity fee, system development fee charge than say a 3/4 inch meter. And again, that's based on the demand and the capacity they're taking away from your system that you can't give to somebody else.
Okay.
And if I might add some, particularly with one of our earlier comments we had today on the open mic session, I think Kevin's got a good point. What the public doesn't know, even though they have the opportunity to sit in on pretty much every meeting that we have, with the exception of our closed sessions at the end of the meeting, is that we had a strategic workshop 2-3 weeks ago, which you had department heads from the entire city all meeting for an entire day to go over this stuff. So I just want to point out for the record, so the public knows, and so you can add this to your good comments. This isn't something that council's just going to hear 5 minutes about, or 10 minutes, or 20 minutes about tonight. They've spent an entire hour on it previously with the folks you see on the screen, going over this whole project. And the bulk of what we're talking about is also covered by statute in terms of the fees and all that. So
much as the mayor said, it's preventive and it's looking forward into the future, which, as we all know, most of our cities around here have not done. So I won't pick on any particular ones, think Lake Norman, but we're trying to do that. In those meetings, just so everybody knows, they're open to the public. I mean, you can literally come in and sit down, just like these are. I mean, we're trying to keep everybody informed as to what's going on. This isn't just council making decisions on 5 minutes of hearing someone talk about something and, oh, we're spending $50,000 again. Yeah, we're spending another $50,000, but believe me, these folks have spent time looking at it. And part of my job is to make sure they look at it fairly and that the public's welcome to talk about it too. So it's not like you can't show up at those meetings. You can.
And we'll have public hearings before we change the rate.
Correct.
I mean, that's a given.
Yeah, and regardless of what we do, we have to follow statute, so we're gonna do just that.
That's the only part I don't understand. I wish you'd explain it to just having to pay somebody to tell us what to do. I mean, do
Well,
we
we're-
not have good brains out here? We
Not
got
in
plenty
some-
of good people.
Not in something
Why
like
you
this.
gotta pay $50,000?
Well, we didn't have anybody on staff that has ever done a study like this or would be able to do the research for it.
You don't think we got somebody could learn how, I mean, could get some suggestions?
Well, a lot of this stuff, you're gonna have to be stamped by
I
an
think
engineer.
that's just a ripoff, if you wanna know the truth. $50,000 to tell, an established government what to do and how to act. I don't believe it. Sorry.
You're a little bit beyond what our employees do, Roby, that's the issue.
Do what?
We're beyond what our employees do. So, and keep in mind.
We've never tried it, how you know?
Keep in mind, a lot of what we have to do when we request rate studies and payroll studies and stuff like that, we have to go to outside agencies to do that. It's like when we do, like when Pam gets her audits, we can't use somebody in-house. It has to be someone outside, a separate public or CPA firm, for example, that does this, that does the research and comes in and audits us. I mean, it's essentially, that's how I look at what we're doing here.
You just go back and look at the money we spent on research, on what we're talking about right now, over the past 8 years. It's been a bunch.
Yeah, but we also spent,
it could be hundreds though.
On our last
What?
study, we spent around 30 or 40, but we found about 700,000 that we were missing in our billing.
Well,
So that's a return on investment.
that could have turned the other way just as easy.
Well, I think we'll find that the 50,000 is gonna be a small amount compared to what we're gonna be able to provide the citizens in the future, and it won't be their dollars, it'll be the new development's dollars.
We're 50,000 our sales to death. Money's going somewhere every time we meet for research.
Okay, if there are no other questions.
Todd's got something.
Todd's,
Yeah, just let me mention also that general statute that authorizes this system development fee study, it's chapter 162A, article 8. It does set forth in that statute that a financial professional or a licensed professional engineer must do the study for you, whether that be Withers Ravenel or some other qualified firm. But I just want to make sure that you understand that is a requirement of the statute.
That makes sense for everybody.
What did he say I could hear?
We're not allowed to do this study in-house. That's the licensed engineers that do it. Not that we couldn't do it in-house, we just don't have the licensed engineers do it. They do. Unless someone tells me we do. I'm not aware that we do.
no, we do not. Mr. John, Mr. Deton, the statute requires us to have a licensed engineer, professional engineer, or financial accountant to conduct the study. And to take 6 months, they have to work on it an extensive amount of time, which working and running an organization and running a city and the services that we provide would take an extensive amount of time away to be able to conduct this in-house. If we did have to, there's a lot to look at. A lot of stones to look at, a lot of pipeline, a lot of plans.
It's and I think I said this during our retreat, as a builder, I'm opposed to this, obviously, but as a city councilman, I think it's the way we have to go. The problems I have is we're looking at charging people for a service, to use a service that the folks that were here before them didn't have that special charge on to get that same service. That's where I have a problem with it. But as far as for the city and the benefits to the city, I think it is the right thing to do. I did want there to be a bit of discussion about this in open forum so folks understand that what we're doing here and what this is going to potentially lead to 6 months down the road. So anyway, it's my 2 cents.
If we're ready to take a motion, I entertain a motion to approve the request for a system development fee study.
To approve the proposal.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mark. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. And thank you all for your input.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, Richie, it's time for your update.
John said I've got 3 minutes, so,
I
and
saw
actually,
3 minutes on it.
I'll be honest with you, you've got the report, but I would like to mention just a few things, and this is always the best part for me, to mention some of our promotions, our certifications, and some attaboys, but, I know some of y'all were able to attend the police swearing-in ceremony, for John, Daniel, Chase, and Paul. Just want to welcome them to our department. And we never say anything about being fully staffed or anything, but we don't have to interview as many, let's put it that way. And then new employees, we've got Matt Lawson, IT department. I think many of y'all met Matt at the workshop. And then Chloe Brooks in the utility billing. So if you're in City Hall or in the utility billing, just introduce yourself, and that way she can know who you are when you come in the building. I want to mention a promotion. Jeremy Brotherton was promoted to an equipment operator 1, and then training and certification. Jonathan Morris received his North Carolina biological certification. I wanted to go down to the special events and some thank yous. Apple Festival, I thought went as well this year as it's probably ever gone. I just want to thank our staff, our full-time and part-time, and then all the volunteers that commit a full day to that. And some of our employees literally are working a 24-hour shift for that event. We had a few incidents, but our police and fire and the sheriff's department were able to locate those people within really, I'd say minutes, but it's almost less than a minute in both cases. And we had, I think, a lady that passed out. But because we moved this to October and not September, we just don't have the heat-related issues that we had before. And it just seems like the weather's better. It's just a better event. But I just want to thank everybody involved. I know the Apple Festival Board, they're volunteers, and they spend half a year getting ready for an event that lasts one day. I just want to say thank you to them. I also want to talk a little bit about our veteran banners. That was a program that Dale Punch brought to us, I'm going to say around 2017 or so, 2018. But that has grown to the point where I'm not sure we're going to put any more. We've occupied poles now down East Main, down Aspen Street, and it's been terrific. And again, I want to thank Apple Festival Board because they allow us to put those up early. We used to put an Apple Festival banner, and they allowed us to put it up early. So now the people who are coming to town for the Apple Festival can see those banners. But it's been great. I want to thank Nathan and his staff for not only keeping up with the entries, but also making sure that the families know where they're at each year, because they go and they document what block they're in. Cycle North Carolina was another great event where we had, over 1,000 people that may or may not come to our community, came through our community and were accommodated at Betty Ross Park. PAX Day is another event that our public safety employees, both the city and county, are involved in. Those are first graders. I think there's probably somewhere between 900 to 1,000 first graders that come to Betty Ross Park, and they learn about public safety. And then our Halloween events had our trunk or treats. I know John was involved in a major one on Water Street. We had some neighborhoods that had different events, and we had our drive-through that we participate with the Cultural Center and some of our churches. If you were in town Friday night, it's amazing how many people were in our downtown. And I always say, you know, they may not shop somewhere that night, but if they see something, they'll come back. So it was a good time for our merchants and our citizens to come and have a safe night in our downtown. I can't say enough for the people who put those different events on. And I wanted to mention next Tuesday, it's always 11/11 at 11 is our Veterans Day Parade. Because of the construction going on at the courthouse, the parade will go to the courthouse, and then they're going to actually go and do their ceremony at American Legion. So if you are in town, the parade will be at 11. And it's hard to believe that I'm talking about this, but at the end of the month, we're going to have our Christmas parade. If council wants to be involved in that, let me know. We'll make sure we've got you in the parade. But looking forward to another big year. I would like to mention, because of the construction, we're not going to be able to have our tree in a traditional spot. We are very fortunate that Emmanuel Lutheran is going to let us use the grassy area there beside our parking lot. There's really no way to have our traditional tree lighting ceremony, so we're going to make sure the vendor comes in, puts the tree up, and we'll probably light it that first weekend of the Santa's Village. And I'll talk more about the Santa's Village at our next meeting, because the first night is our council meeting that Thursday. So just want to remind everybody, especially for those of us who have small kids and grandkids, that is a free, awesome 2 hours to spend in our downtown, 2 or 3 hours, and your kids or grandkids will love it. They'll get to see Santa, ride the train, get some hot chocolate, and have some photos. But just wanted to mention those because, like I say, I always want to bring up the people who are involved in our special events. One other thing that happened at the Apple Festival, I had a lady that I've known for a while and works at one of our local banks that called, and she wanted to make sure that council was aware of Brad Gates and the Public Works Department for something they went out of the way and helped her and her husband with. They had brought a tractor to the Apple Festival, and when they were putting it back on the trailer, somehow it jumped over the railing. And here it's just her and her husband, no way to get the tractor back on the trailer. And Brad and his crew went over there and got the tractor back on the trailer. They were able to secure it and got it safely home. And she just wanted y'all to know that she knew that was something that wasn't in their day-to-day, but they took the time, even though they were busy, to make sure that they were accommodated and they were safe and everything got taken care of. So when we have those situations, I want to make sure council's aware of it, because our employees, when they can, they do try to make sure that that in a situation like that, they can assist our citizens. And she just wanted to say thank you to them. But glad to answer any questions or anything else. I know we've got a closed session coming up as
On
well.
that Veterans Day Parade, if you want to volunteer to ride one of the
Yeah, if you want to be in it, you can Chris Duchelle is the representative for the American Legion. But it's anybody who wants to be in the parade is pretty much.
Jump on.
Yeah, they'll have their lineup on Water Street. We close there at City Lunch. We close that off, and then the police, they'll bring them from Flint Street all the way down to the courthouse, and then they'll like I said, they're not going to go any further than that.
Well, I'll try to make that a big parade.
Well, it has been, and unfortunately, this year is going to be a little bit different. But yeah, they've had some good crowds, and it's all dependent on weather.
The department staff reports you've got, it might just be mine, but I've got nothing on the police
department? It goes from police department to,
Chief sent that, yeah.
okay.
And I've got the
Do you
homeless
email-
report.
If we get it emailed or whatever, I just like.
Just send it to you, yeah.
I want to look over.
And the homeless report is in your packet that I handed out as well. Our numbers were down, but we generally see that this time of year because it gets colder. Some of those homeless have a place to go, and they'll go back to a house or couch surf or whatever in the cold weather. So we see it every year, and it dips, but it comes right back. Oh, one last thing. You've got a save the date, and this is for our employee Christmas luncheon.
Oh, yeah.
December the 11th, from 11:30 to 1 p.m. If you can, we'd appreciate you being there, and we'll feed you.
Is that Betty Ross?
Yeah, Betty Ross, yeah.
Hey, anything else?
That's all there.
Okay. Next up, John.
I got a few things. Let's start with the fun stuff first. We had our first annual, hopefully, will be every year now. If y'all bless us with that. The Halloween block party with the city and DDA put on over in front of my office on Water Street. We had several sponsors I'd like to thank. Tryon Title, Carolina Auto Direct, Mr. Johnson, Jason Engel, who was our free DJ, Westside Cruisers, who showed up and did trunk or treats out of some of their cars, and Proper Provisions, who handled all of our hot dogs that we gave out, which we went through 1,000 of them. We went through over 400 pounds of candy. We don't know the exact number, but it was a lot. And we gave out almost $200 in Amazon gift cards to the kids for costume awards. And I publicly apologize to the one little kid that I apparently upset and made him cry. We're not gonna do judging costumes anymore. Let me just put it that way. We're gonna do something different going forward. Or let's put it this way: I'm not gonna be doing any judging. So a good night was had by all. We had 0 incidents. And I want to thank the fire department. They helped me out with some ice beforehand. So it was a very well-received party, I think. Scott here. We were still there at, 8:45? We were supposed to be done at 8. We didn't quite shoo anybody away, but as it was getting close to 9, we started saying, hey, we got to open the roads back up. So overall, I think it was great. I'd like to be able to do it again next year with y'all's approval. I definitely have several more businesses that want to get involved. We had quite a few there. So on to the not so fun stuff. Just the update on our pending litigation, City versus Lipari Foods. Of course, you know that's the one where they took down our power lines. They have switched out from AT&T to Bell South, supposedly. So we've been out of that. We just had to consent to it, which we did. We got a status conference coming up on 11/12. That'll be our next big event, and we finished up at this point, we should be done with discovery. DeLand and Broome, those are both our code violations. I will specifically say about Mr. DeLand, he has made significant progress over there, and it's looking good. We still don't know where we are with the Historic Preservation Foundation, but hopefully we'll get word from them. But Mr. DeLand has been doing what we agreed to, and he is on it. Broome and Warren, we have status conferences on November 12th as well. So I'll have a lot more information at the next meeting where we're going with those. And let's skip 5. We'll cover in closed session. All right. Item 1 on my advisory opinions. William and I have been working on this one along with Chief. And I don't know. Yeah, Bryson's still here. Just so you know, we've been working on that one. During our strategic planning meeting, I pulled City of Concord's tow rotation. They have a really nice one that was done. I know the person who wrote it. So we're looking at that one as a template. I haven't got with Chief to figure out where we are yet, but I can promise you we're all looking at it from an equitable position, and I think we'll come up with something that's fair to everybody. And more than anything, it's gonna take care of our citizens, and that's, because I can tell you now from my perspective as city attorney, you know, the keys for that tow rotation, and for folks that don't understand what a tow rotation is, it's, if you're in a crash or, you know, even on, say, a DWI or something, we gotta get a vehicle towed, our officer who's at the scene has to get that car taken care of. So if the person who's there, or is involved doesn't have somebody on speed dial, it goes to tow rotation, and the officer will call in, and Chief, you tell me if I misstate any of this, but, they call into the office and they say, hey, we need somebody on rotation, the dispatch, and they give the name of the towing company, and that's who gets called. And as long as they can get out there within a certain time frame, they tow the vehicle. So I certainly get where Bryson's coming from, and we're looking at it, and we will come up with a plan. But again, it's another one of those issues that I can tell you the city's working on. You know, the public doesn't necessarily see it, because I get it, y'all aren't going to show up at our meetings and strategic planning meetings and all that kind of stuff. Totally get it. Heck, a lot of us are there going, oh, we got to spend all day here. So, understood. But we are working on that one. So, and that one just happened to be on my agenda for today. So, so we are working on it. So, thank you. 2, that's closed session. 3 is closed session. Tanya, if you might hang around for closed session for 5 minutes, I would really appreciate it. William's been working on these, and several of these will come out of our strategic planning meeting. He's got a updated firearms ordinance drafted. I think the bicycle ordinance we've got done, and we've got some changes on that. And Richie mentioned we're probably done with that one. So, and then all the other items are closed session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are going to be going into closed session. Before we do that, I'll ask if there's any questions from the media.
Richie, did you go over again where the lighting of the traditional tree will be, since it won't be at the courthouse? I didn't catch that.
Emmanuel Lutheran.
Emmanuel Lutheran.
Yeah, if you're looking at the new parking lot, there's yes, to the left they have a grass area there near their columbarium. It's going to be right there, and it was the only spot that we could find near downtown that the area was big enough and that we could get power to. So, and it really is a nice area. So we're looking forward to. We just appreciate their, them allowing us to put it there. But I think it'd be different. People have to kind of find it. The one thing that we were saying before, that tree could be seen from Hardee's, and so it was special, and people always commented. But we're
coming into town.
We're making sure at the courthouse when they're done that there will be a space for the tree. So we know it's going to be back there one day.
They always had a manger scene
That
there.
that was done by a resident. It wasn't done by the city.
One other thing was the city contacted about the grant application to the FDA for the partnership with Gaston College on the Workforce Development Center?
Well, we've been aware of it because of our association with LEDA.
Richie and I have visited several sites in the past several months. We've been on the planning part of that.
So I know the county will be the lead.
Correct.
They're
Yeah.
contributing $4 million for matching funds, and also county employees, if it comes to pass, will have the ability for free tuition for advanced training, that sort of thing. Would city employees also be offered?
I think the reason in that is because it's county property that's going to be donated and so forth. But I will say this: when it is built, it will be an asset for not only Lincoln County but the city. And the beauty of it, it's going to be near downtown, so those students can come to downtown and eat lunch, and so it's going to benefit us. But we know that there is a huge need for skilled labor, and there's just not enough training facilities, for the need, and so it's going to be huge, and hopefully everything works out with
I
it.
did email the president of the college, but he never returned my email in regard to the location. I assume it couldn't be on the current Lincoln campus.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It is?
John Dankoff, you know John. John's is our contact.
Yeah, and he's on the Gaston board as well, so, yeah.
I'm just curious about future location of this facility.
Yeah, it's gonna be on their campus,
Somewhere.
unless something changes.
Probably to do something with their current parking lot.
Yeah, I think
They had
that's,
some more land around there, I'm not sure.
I think it's, their vision is it's gonna be in that parking area somewhere, yeah.
That's it, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you,
Between
Mike.
the two buildings.
Ms. Daphne,
Sir?
is the CAC ready?
He's referring to the copies I gave you right before you left the workshop of the draft
Oh, for the Citizen Advisory Committee.
for the Citizen Advisory Committee.
That's what he's referring to. It was a resolution
To establish it as well as procedures, rules of procedure.
Yeah, I didn't know if y'all had a chance to review that, if that's ready, because if so, because my ultimate goal, back when I brought it to y'all originally, was be up and running December. So I didn't know if.
I had some questions.
Okay, all right, we'll go through them then. Okay. Well, But
And the term will not start until January, so it would not hurt to
all right, that's perfect then.
appoint January.
But the key is the key is that we are still working on that. I know it seemed like I might have forgot about it, but I didn't. I was still working on it, but, all right. Other than that,
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to enter closed session.
so moved.
Motion by Roby, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We are now in closed session.